Hi, my name is Tristan from the CPAPstore.ca. Today we're going to be looking at hollow frame masks such as this DreamWear by Philips and this N30i by ResMed. The question we receive most by many of our patients, as well as I've noticed some comments on our YouTube channel, is whether or not these frames will work if you are sleeping on your side. Now, a lot of people think that if you're sleeping on your side, you're going to, close one of the tubes, right? You're going to have this on. And you won't get your correct pressure because you're going to sleep on your side and you're going to press one of these tubes down and only one of the tubes are going to work, okay? And this is a very, very common misconception with these masks. But these masks are some of the most popular CPAP masks on the market. Millions are sold every year and there is no problems with them. So what does that mean? Does that mean millions of CPAP users aren't getting the correct therapy? No, not quite. So I'm going to explain how these masks work and explain a little bit about how your CPAP system works. So unlike a different air blowing system like a fan or a vacuum cleaner, I guess would suck air, or a leaf blower, right? These things that we come in contact with day to day are continuous airflow machines, right? So if you have a leaf blower and you point it towards a wall or you point it towards the sky, the leaf blower is going to be having the same amount of air pass through it. But with your CPAP machine, this is a CPAP, right? A continuous positive airway pressure machine. Now the key word there is pressure, right? Pressure is different than airflow. And the machine is going to make sure that you have the correct pressure in your lungs and airway all the times. This includes during your inhale and your exhale and when you stop breathing, for example, right? So how do your lungs work? Well, during an inhale, a suck in, your body and your muscles create a space in your lungs that is low pressure. They contract, your diaphragm goes down. It creates a low pressure area in your lungs. And therefore the atmospheric pressure outside is strong enough to fill your lungs, right? And that's an inhale. When you exhale, your muscles contract, right? Your diaphragm goes back up and compresses that air, and now your lung pressure is higher than the atmospheric pressure, and you're able to relieve that air through an exhale breath. Now your machine has to work according to that. So when you're inhaling, creating that low pressure zone in your lungs, and the air is flowing in you. If you have sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea, a lot of things can get in the way. Your throat can close up, your tongue can relax and fall down, right? And that creates the apnea, and that creates you to wake up, right? And when you exhale, the opposite occurs. Everything tightens up and you blow out and you have that pressure in your trachea, in your windpipe. And so the machine is naturally going to help with that. When you inhale, it's going to send a little more air to keep that pressure the same, so nothing closes up in your airway. And when you exhale, you're going to have exhalation relief, and it's going to slow down. The machine's going to relax a bit to allow you to force that air out. Now that brings me to these hollow frame masks. A lot of people will get these hollow frame masks and they'll be like, oh, I wonder if they'll work when I'm sleeping on my side. And so they will turn their machine on like this, and you hear the air going through. And this is an air pressure of 4. I set it to 4. Okay, so you can hear quite a bit of air is going through it. You can hear it on the mic, quite a bit of air is going through it. And when you press one of the sides down, you're gonna feel that air drop. You're gonna hear that air drop. So that's the DreamWear, and we're gonna try that on the ResMed. Okay, this is the N30i. Okay, so what's happening? Does that mean that these masks are defective and all hollow frame masks are defective? No. What it means is that your machine's not getting any input of pressure. So back to the DreamWear, for example. This is a little easier to see because it's just a cradle mask, just a hole. There's no pressure, there's no nose, there's no diaphragm, there's no trachea that this air is going into. It's just flowing out into the air. And therefore your machine's like, thinking, oh, there's no pressure at all. I'm supposed to have a continuous pressure of 4, or whatever you set it to, 10, 20, whatever. I'm supposed to have this continuous pressure, but I don't sense any pressure occurring because it's just flowing into the, it's not flowing into your mouth. It's not hitting anything. There's no air hitting anything. So it's just going to keep on cranking up that airflow because it doesn't feel any pressure. Now, when you hold down one of the sides, it feels like, okay, there's some pressure. There's some pressure now. I can relax a bit because now I have to reduce the airflow to hit that air pressure of 4. Right? So does this mean when you put the mask on and you sleep on your side, it's going to reduce the air pressure and it's going to not work? No, it's actually quite the contrary. When you lie down and push aside or whatever, because the machine's going to be measuring your breathing, right? It's going to always provide you the correct air pressure to fill within your lungs and airway. Meaning that when you inhale, you're still creating that vacuum. The machine's going to sense that vacuum. So whether or not you have one side closed or you're sleeping on your back and you have both sides open, there's still going to be a vacuum there. There's still going to be negative pressure there. And therefore, it's going to make sure that there's enough airflow to keep that pressure consistent. Okay? So I'm going to show you a quick example here of what's going to happen if I turn this on and I put my thumb very close to the cradle. Like not quite touching, I'll still allow air to get out, but I'll put it close to the cradle. Ready? So you can hear the air flowing out. I'm going to take my thumb, put it really close to the cradle, and you can hear it drop. Now there's still holes here, right? There's still holes. The air can get out, but it's feeling that pressure. Right? And it's dropping because it thinks that is connected to your face. So by our original incorrect logic, which a lot of people think if you squeeze aside, the airflow drops and you're not going to have the correct pressure, then you would say, okay, well, when this is connected to your nose and there's a little bit of, the air is hitting, this area of your nose, the airflow drops and it's a defective mask, right? But in fact, it's just because when you turn on the mask like this, without anything touching it, this right here is not how a mask is going to work. It's not how the mask and the machine is supposed to work. So the amount of airflow going through right now is completely and artificially high. And this is not the airflow that you would want going into your body. So I'm going to show you one more demonstration. This time I'll put it back on the N30i. Okay. And I will turn the mask on and we'll go through the whole steps. So the mask is on, we have the airflow, it's not pressure, it's airflow. We squeeze aside and the airflow drops, okay? But this is because it's not connected to anything, so this is a completely kind of invalid experiment. Now let's put our thumb close to the cushions here. We hear it drop, right? So this is much more close to what it's going to be like. Right? Now I'm going to take this hand and close aside. As you can see, and as I can feel, whether I close aside or not, the pressure remains the same. Because now our thumb is actually mimicking what the CPAP machine is going to feel when it's actually on your nose. And whether we hold aside or not, the pressure is almost identical. I can't feel any drop of pressure in my thumb. There's a little bit of a noise change because every time I, squeeze this, it wiggles a bit. But other than that, my thumb is feeling the same pressure consistently. And that's what a CPAP machine is supposed to do. It's supposed to vary the airflow to ensure you have the correct pressure inside of your airway and respiratory system. Okay, so that's the little experiment there. Whether you are sleeping on a side or sleeping on your back, it doesn't really matter with these hollow frame masks, even though they look kind of funky. It doesn't matter. They are all designed to keep the correct pressure in your system while you're sleeping and have effective sleep apnea therapy. Okay, if you don't believe me, you can talk to your sleep therapist and they will explain how it works in further detail. I hope this video cleared it up. We do get this question a lot. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't use these masks because I sleep on my side. That couldn't be further from the truth. It's just a little counterintuitive because we're so used to seeing leaf blowers and vacuum cleaners have consistent sucking or blowing power. And you know, when we cover things up, like things don't really change. Whereas when you cover the nostrils of this, it does change, but that's what makes a CPAP and so much different than typical like air blowing devices. In fact, these machines are quite good if you sleep on your side because of the top mounted elbow. Here's the top mounted elbow. If you're twisting, turning on your back, on your side, on your other side, 360, as you can see, the tube stays in the same spot and doesn't wrap around your neck. So these masks are actually quite good if you do sleep on your side or you do roll around frequently. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.